Hey everyone, it's Mrs. Merrill, and I am here to read the poem titled Twice I Walked with Dinosaurs, written by Cameron Diagonal from 2017. You can find this poem and many other poems and articles at www.commonlit.org. Let's read some background on Cameron. Cameron Diagonal is originally from North Carolina and currently attends school in D.C. She began writing poetry in high school, and her work tends to focus on experiences from her childhood and the wonderful cruxes of youth. Now, you might be thinking, what does the word crux mean? Well, we see the word wonderful in front of it, so this must be a good thing. Crux is just the word or a word that means something that is essential, something that is really important to someone. So we can see that Cameron is writing about her childhood experiences and the things that might give her the most wonderment, the things that might interest her the most, the things that are most important to her. So we can take that idea and kind of connect it to the poem that we're about to read. And if she's writing about the topic that she is writing about, she may have some positive experiences with it. Please note that in this poem, a speaker describes encounters with a shark and an alligator. As you read, take notes on how the speaker reacts to the animals she encounters in this poem. Well, before we start reading the poem, let's preview it. We know that the speaker is describing the encounters with a shark and an alligator. And at first, we might think that that is kind of scary. We think about sharks and we see the pictures down here of the shark and the alligator. We might feel fearful of these two creatures. However, maybe the speaker of the poem and the writer of the poem may feel differently. So I'm going to read the poem once, and I would like for you to listen to it the first time through as I read it. And then I will read it a second time so that we can discuss the poem together. And I will include some comments like I usually do. Okay, so the first time I read it, I'm going to read it all the way through so you can hear it the first time. And then we will talk about the poem and what it means. Also notice that we see some footnotes in each of these lines. We see the word autopsy, marveled, reveled, and vigil. We know what an autopsy is. An autopsy is when we might examine something, whether it be a creature or a human, to determine the cause of death. The word marveled and reveled, let's see what those words mean. Remember, if there are small little numbers after words, it means that we have information about them at the bottom of our page. That's why they're called a footnote. Remember, our feet are at the bottom of our bodies, so footnotes are found at the bottom of articles or poems. So marvel was number 2. Marvel is a verb, and it means to be filled with wonder or astonishment. So this right here, this is a positive word. If you're filled with wonder or astonishment, we can probably assume that the speaker of the poem is going to have some sort of positive connection towards the subject matter. The word revel also means to enjoy oneself in a lively and noisy way. Well, that definitely sounds positive if you're enjoying yourself in a very lively and noisy way. So right now we have two words, marvel and revel, that feel like they have positive connotations or emotions connected to them. So keep that in mind as we read. And then our last footnote was the word vigil. You see that it is used up here, the number 4, vigil. So some of you may already know what that word means. It means a period of time when a person or group of people stay in a place and quietly wait, usually while praying. Whenever we have vigils for people or certain reasons, it could be to show that we honor someone or really care about them. So keep that in mind as we read. Okay, so here, let me go ahead and read the poem the first time through. Notice that our lines of poetry are numbered for us as usual as well. One summer we found a dead baby shark washed up on the beach, cut it open with a dinner knife from the house, and performed an outdoor autopsy. As we marveled at its miniature anatomy, reveled in the smallness of each little organ, seagulls circled overhead. The ocean was quiet, barely making waves. It kept vigil for its tiny casualty. The spring prior, an alligator wandered onto the beach during my uncle's second wedding. It was far enough away to merit an absence of fear, but nobody took photos or said a word. We just stared as it settled itself in the surf, hoping to be cleansed. So that poem seemed simple enough. I would like you to take a minute to think about what this poem might mean, and then I will read it again and we will discuss the topic. Okay, let's read this poem for the second time so that we can discuss and understand it better. I'm going to start from stanza 1. One summer we found a dead baby shark washed up on the beach, cut it open with a dinner knife. Okay, so the speaker is telling us that they found a baby shark on the beach and they cut it open with a dinner knife. So it doesn't sound like this baby shark is something to be fearful of. Okay, and if you are taking this creature and looking at it in a much deeper way, this is something that the speaker was very interested in. So we can say the speaker of the poem is very interested in this shark. We can also say that the speaker is not scared. Okay? So they cut it open with a dinner knife from the house and performed an outdoor autopsy. So they cut the shark open so they can kind of look inside it. The speaker goes on to say, as we marveled at its miniature anatomy, reveled in the smallness of each little organ. So let's backtrack. As we marveled at its anatomy. So remember, marveled means looking at something in wonderment and astonishment. So again, this shows us that they're very interested. So I'm going to put a comment here. Marveled. Okay, I'm going to write that down. Marveled. Wonder and astonishment. So it's something that was very interesting to them, okay? It was kind of like they were in awe of this shark, in awe of shark. Okay? In addition, the speaker says they reveled in the smallness of each little organ. So I'm going to highlight this, reveled in the smallness of each little organ. So the word reveled means to kind of celebrate, okay, live lively. If we look back down at the bottom, the word reveled means to enjoy oneself in a lively and noisy way. So they reveled in the smallness of each little organ. So it's kind of like the speaker was very excited. The speaker So they were excited over the anatomy of the shark. Okay. So again, it sounds like we have this positive tone coming out from the speaker. The seagulls circled overhead. The ocean was quiet, barely making waves. It kept vigil for its tiny casualty. So it sounds like the ocean was being quiet in such a way to honor this baby shark. Okay, so I'm going to put a comment here. The ocean was honoring the baby shark. Then the speaker kind of switches the idea from shark to an alligator. The spring prior, an alligator wandered onto the beach during my uncle's second wedding. It was far enough away to merit an absence of fear, but nobody took photos or said a word. We just stared as it settled itself in the surf, hoping to be cleansed. So they found this alligator wandered onto the beach. The speaker says it was far enough away to merit an absence of fear. So with that being said, we can tell that the speaker was not scared. They were not scared. It merited an absence of fear. It kind of gave the idea that it's far enough away, we feel comfortable enough just letting it do its thing. Okay. And the speaker goes on to say, we just stared. So think about it. When you stare at something in wonderment and excitement, okay, you kind of just stare so you can see what it's going to do. The speaker then goes on to say, as it settled itself in the surf, hoping to be cleansed. So the word cleansed kind of gives you a positive feeling as well. And it's a word that shows maybe purity as well, innocence. So we can take that word cleansed and kind of use it as a symbol. The alligator is cleansing itself, but it's also showing the innocence and purity of the speaker. So overall, we can say that the speaker looks at nature in wonderment. We can probably also say that the speaker really admires nature. And we can say that the overall tone would be one of respect and honor. We can tell that nature is something that is really important to the speaker, and it's something that gives the speaker maybe some sort of calmness and something to look forward to. So we can definitely say that this poem and speaker has a positive tone. There's definitely a positive tone with this poem, and we can tell that the speaker has some sort of fascination with nature almost, because they're finding this baby shark. They're really excited about it. They're marveling and reveling over how small the miniature creature is and its anatomy. They're also saying, or the speaker said, that the ocean was keeping vigil for its tiny casualty. So this baby shark that had passed, the ocean is keeping vigil for it. So it's kind of like it's praying for it. It's honoring the baby shark. So again, that is something that has some sort of positive feelings and connotations to it that will definitely connect to the speaker's tone and how the speaker feels towards this subject matter. Okay, so if you have any questions about this poem and the questions that you are going to answer, please reach out to your teachers. Okay, I hope you enjoyed this poem. I think it's really great and shows that we all should have some sort of honor and respect towards nature as well.